Let's begin. Okay, tonight our shiur is dedicated for Refuah Shlema of Michael Noach ben Katrina Leah, and also for Shmuel Henoch ben Bela Froma. Okay, as the copies are going to go around, there's 2 pages. It's 4 sides in total, 2 papers. We're going to begin where it says Derush Aleph in small Hebrew letters. This is the first Derush from the Zera Shimshon. The Zera Shimshon promises he didn't have children, so he said anyone who learns it, says if he has children, Zera Shimshon, and he promises anyone who learns it is going to have lots of brachot. We're going to see Yeshuot and Nechamot. Speedily in our days, we'll see the peace in the world, in Eretz Yisrael, and all around. Okay, let's begin. Give us Yosef Dov. So the pasuk says, right at the beginning of Balak wants to invite Bil'am. He tells him, listen, I'm going to hire you. You got to help me. We have this nation. They're coming. They're going to eat up this whole place like a cow that licks up all the food in the grass, when it grazes, and we need to get them out of there. I'm hiring you to curse them. Okay? So then why does the pasuk say, when Balak is talking, he goes, listen, I'm hiring you to curse them because I know whoever you bless will be blessed and whoever you curse will be cursed. Why are you talking about blessing? Simple. You want to curse? I'm hiring you for cursing, and I'm hiring you because I know anyone you curse, it happens. So question number 1 is, and if you look in the first sheet with the small letters, Derush Aleph, Asher tevarech mevorach, Asher ta'or, you are, makshim, we ask, Dilama, why? Hutzrach Balak Lomar, did Balak have to say Asher tevarech mevorach? Im kavanato lo hayata ele shekalel, if his whole kavanah was let's curse them, lo sheyevarech, and not to bless. So the obvious question is, give also a paper stem. You have more papers? You're fine. He's going to get food. It's perfect. So that's the question number 1. Ve'od. Furthermore, Lama b'beracha amar mevorach, and by kelala amar you are. Anyone know the difference? Mevorach, you are in present tense. You're blessed. But when you're cursed, it's you are. You will be cursed. It's in future tense. So anyone knows? I was an ELA teacher for a bunch of years. The kid gives you back composition with tense being changed in this composition of paragraph. We're giving it back, or we're saying no good, 0. This is wrong. Can't write like this. And the same applies in Torah. You can't write in the same sentence a present and a future. Oh, I'm hiring you because when you bless them, they're blessed in present tense, and when you curse, they're cursed in the future tense. Doesn't make any sense. That won't work either. The ode, and another question, Masha Katav Rashi. Rashi writes, Al Yedei Milchemet Sichon, when Sichon fought with Moab, Sha'azar told Akodet Moab. What happened there? Dahainu, Sichon hired, right here, come here. Sichon hired, and the paper is right there on the table. Sichon hired Bilam to go and curse so they can take over Moab. But when it comes to Sichon and Am Yisrael last week in Parshat Chukat, Vayetze Sichon, and what happened? The Jews came and killed them all. Why you didn't go get Bilam like you did for Moab? When Sichon fought Moab, they got Bilam. Sichon now is approached last week with Am Yisrael, and what does Sichon do? They just go out to fight. What happened? Get Bilam. Why didn't they get Bilam? So 3 questions. Question number 1, Mevorach. Question number 1 is, why even mention, when Balak is inviting Bilam, why mention the blessings? You're not hiring him for blessings. The pasuk should say, we're hiring you for cursing, ki yadati, because I know, asher you are, whoever you're gonna curse there, right? What's the pasuk say? Asher ta'or, you are, end of story. Why are you gonna mention bracha? That's question 1. You're inviting him, you're for cursing, why mentioning bracha? Number 2, you did mention bracha, you switched the tense on us. It went from present, bracha was present, and klal is future. Why the switch of tense? Question number three is, Sichon hired Bilam to fight Moab, and it was successful. And now they're about to fight Am Yisrael. Sichon goes out to war without getting Bilam again. What happened? I thought we used the Bilam. Where did this all go wrong then? Why did they cancel on Bilam? Lo kara, at the end of that first paragraph, Lo kara af l'pa'am ahu leBilam lekalelet Yisrael. Why didn't they call it? So, to answer this, we'll go with the first question, and I think that's a great lesson in its own. So we're gonna give it to you. I just want to think the best way about it. Okay. There's a Pirkei Avot. Pirkei Avot says, "Be from the students of Avraham. Don't be from the students of Bilam." I included that in the packet, so you have it. Let me pull my packet out. And that would be, there's an English, so it's on the second side of the Derush Aleph. So look at the answer upside down. It says over there, Kol mi sheyesh beyado shadrim halalu mitalmidav shel Avraham Avinu. And whoever is shalosha devarim acherim mitalmidav shel Bilam harasha. Ayin tov, ruach nemucha, nefesh shefela, you're from Avraham. Ayin ra'ah, someone who has an evil eye. What does that mean? Look at the translation. She'eno mistapek b'ma sheyesh lo. He always wants more. He's jealous. He always wants everyone else's thing. Ruach gevoha, he's ga'ava. And nefesh rechava, he goes after ta'avot. These are the Talmidei of Bil'am HaRasha. So, Bil'am HaRasha is attributed for Ayin Ra'ah. Let's go to the next copy, next paper. It says Mekorot V'Tziyunim. Second column. So, this is missing one of the Zohars. I didn't have a second Zohar here. But the first Zohar said, when you give a bracha, your bracha has to be Ayin Tov. If you have an Ayin Ra, your bracha can never happen. So now there's a question on the Torah. Pirkei Avot writes, Bilam, Ayin Ra. His students have Ayin Ra. So Bilam can never bless anybody. So why the Pasuk writes, I'm hiring you because whoever you bless, they're blessed. No, they're not. According to this, the Zohar writes that you have to, we didn't do that Zohar because we don't have that inside here, but we'll see it in the Derush Aleph. We'll go back to the Derush in a second. You have to have a good ayin. How could you give, so you never do bracha. Let's see that in the Derush, then we'll go to this page. Let's go back to the Derush, and then we'll go back to this page. So, V'yei Shlomar, answer number one. The Kra Ketiv, the Pasuk says, Al tilcham, don't eat at lechem, the food, ra ayin, from someone that has an evil eye. V'al tit'av, and don't even be someone that has ta'avot, desires, lemat amotav, from anything of his delicacies. Some guy who has a ayin ra'ah, don't take anything from him. The Zohar attributes this pasuk to the following. Read it. It says over here, V'ita b'Zohar shemevarech adam l'chavero tzarich levarechu be'en tova. You have to have a good eye to the guy. You can't go to every single person for a bracha. The guy's jealous of you. He's never going to give you a real bracha. He has ulterior motives. You can't trust this guy. Uvlev tov, he has to have a really good heart. When the guy blesses you, it has to be from inside completely good. If not, it doesn't even happen. The bracha is not mekoyim. The ilav hachi en birchato beracha. It's as if he said nothing. She'eno mitkayemet. V'hine Bilam hayta eino ra'ah. Bilam's eyes were bad. They were evil. So if they were evil, v'im kain ech efshar lomar shtikayem berchato. How could the pasuk say ki yadativ? I know whatever you bless is blessed. Impossible. So when I wrote this article up, I wrote it's not about his power; it's about his timing. Bilam is all about the calendar. And we're going to learn today a new concept. During the day, it's not just that we learned in the Gemara and Berachot that one time that Hashem gets angry in the same amount of time it says to say Rega, and 1 out of 500,000, 80,888 of an hour, 1 out of that, the same time it takes for a rooster to go on 1 foot and the middle crown to turn white, which no one could see. One person was able to, Bilam. But guess what? That's not the only thing there. There's another way. There are certain times of the day that Hashem is sitting and judging. And if you're going to bring up Averot, Mazkir Averot, that's what happened. At the end of the day, Bilam told him, listen, make them do the Averot. Hashem's going to get so angry, a plague's going to come and kill everybody. Forget about us. Because on that time that Bilam and Balak tried to curse us, Hashem did not get angry. That anger one, the anger one that the rooster, that anger, Hashem did not get angry. Lo za'am el, he writes in the pasuk, we'll see in a moment. But he knew timing. He could make a blessing and it would happen even though he had ayin hara, because he knew at what time. Just like there's punishments, there's the opposite side, where if you say something good, Hashem's going to say amen to that too. And so the blessings that could happen only happened because of his timing. It was auspicious timing. It was a good timing. Otherwise, his brachot were never mekuyam. Balak is talking to Bilam. I brought the midrash down. It's the last page. It's in English. It's highlighted. Balak is smarter than Bilam. Let's look at that. Balak is smarter than him. Balak was a sorcerer greater than Bilam. He was also menachesh, diviner. He was able to do just divining and not sorcery. There's two things out there. There's sorcery and then there's divining. What's the difference? Sorcery, you have to do certain actions. Divining, all you got to do is look and you got it. There's a higher level. Both of them had to do something like we do something. We do l'shem yichud before we say a tefillah. We prepare ourselves hideni muchanim zuman l'kayim or l'shem yichud kudsha b'richu. They did the same thing in tum'ah in order to bring up their levels. We're going to see in the Zohar in about a moment. They too did that. Balak is stronger than Bilam, but Bilam has the calendar. Balak tells him in his invitation, I know those that you're going to bless in present term will be blessed. Not because you're a good person and you bless them, but because I know you know the timings. Yodea da'at elyon. Not just the rega where he's zo'em, where he gets angry, but also the other times during the day when he punishes or when he's doing kindness to people. So depending on the moment. And he's hinting him, hint, I'm taking you because if you're not going to be able to do the whole thing, you'll be able to do part of it, because he had a feeling, Balak. Balak was smart. Balak had a feeling. He said, I have a feeling God will not allow us to outsmart him in his game. His game is spiritual. His game is tefillot. His game is korban. We're trying to find a loophole, Bilam and Balak. We're going to bring korbanot too. We're going to say certain tefillot also. We're going to do everything we can to curse. But I know, Balak says, Hashem might not allow us. I'm taking you because you know the calendar. And you know the calendar, if it's not a time to curse, bring up Averot. Vayisam B'Shalom Vayomar. And he starts to say all his things over there. He tried to bring up Averot. So, we're painting a picture here. We have 3 questions. Why mention blessing at all? We just gave you that answer. Because he's telling him, the same way the blessings of yours work because of the timing. Cursing will work. Either Zoem, the worst kind, where you just have to say one word. Tosfot says one word. Kelaem. And they're out. But Hashem didn't let that happen. He knew still Da'at Elyon. Do the bracha, the opposite of it. Do the klalot from Averot. Remind Hashem why these guys need some special treatment. They do Averot. And if they do Averot, you won't get Kol Ha'am, about Efes. K'tzat from the Am, you'll be able to do. That's one. Question number 2, he said why blessing was written in present and curses are written, and over here he wrote, you curse, future tense. Why switch the tense? So go back to the Derush, and he writes over here that when a person gets a blessing, look at the second to last paragraph, Ki yadati et asher tevarech shemidat tova meruba mimidat pur'anut. Good midah is stronger than midat pur'anut, the punishment. Where do we see this? When Moshe Rabbeinu, when he said Lashon Hara, I don't want to lead Klal Yisrael. You know, they're this, they're that, and the other. Hashem said, you said Lashon Hara. Put your hand into your shirt, pull it out, it was tzarat. When he put his hand back the second time, before he even pulled it out, his hand was healed. The blessing a person gets happens immediately, even before the stipulations were in. Chafetz Chaim takes upon himself, I will learn more Torah, I'll read Tehillim again, just let this guy have a child, or let this guy have this hatzlacha. Or big gedolim do that, or people do that on themselves. I'm taking upon myself to do X. You know, Hashem, please bless. And the blessing happens even before you started your stipulation. So in these words of blessing, Hashem in the Torah puts in this concept. Because blessings happen immediately. Curses have to wait till the entire stipulation took place. That's why you are is written b'lashon atid. And then we're going to go into the last question that we had, and then we'll see that's the Zohar that I printed. Last question was Sichon. What happened to you guys? Sichon used Bilam to fight Moab. Now when Eretz Yisrael, when Am Yisrael come, they just said, okay, we're going to fight you. Because after they used Bilam and they fought the mighty warriors of Moab and they took over some of those lands of Ammon and Moab. They took over Ammon over there. So what happens? They felt like they had all the power. I got the power. They thought that they did it on their own. And so when it came to the next war, they thought they were all that. And they didn't bother in prayer. The Gemara Megillah says the same exact thing regarding us and what happened by Esther, and what happened to us in modern day, with the started of the Geulah, which is the modern Israel state and its continuation. Every time we have a winning, we forget Hashem. And we say, our army and their might, and they did everything. Yes, they did everything, but who did it for them? Hashem yulachem lachem ve'atem tach harishun. When you pray and we do our charbi ufkashti, then the Kadosh Baruch Hu protects and magen on the chayalim, and they can do what they have to do. And every time we don't, and we say, don't worry about it, we got a strong army. Well, the Gemara Megillah writes, the Jews of Persia at the time, they said, our daughter is in the palace. Nothing will happen to us. And then the whole story unfolds. And only after they prayed, Sumu alai shloshet yamim layla vayom, only then they were answered. Sichon made that mistake. They brought their Navi, Bilam, help us out, chant for us, protect us spiritually. That was their Navi. And when it came to fight Am Yisrael, they already felt like, what do you mean? It's me and my hands. I did it all. and they fell. Now, Balak and Bilam were, as we saw in the Midrash Rabbah that I had in English, it said over there, they were like two blind people helping each other. One knows there's a blade, knows how to use it but can't see. The other one could see but has no idea how to use the blade. These two were working like that. Balak was smarter. Now let's see that Zohar, which will explain that a little bit better. Second column, where it says, the paper says Mekorot v'tziyunim. So we're going to look at the second column over there. It's in Hebrew translated at the brackets. Second line. Bor en. Balak chacham haya v'gadol b'kesamim. He was a genius, and he was the top when it comes to sorcery. B'masei yadav, with his hands, yoter mi Bilam, more than Bilam. Ukshem she'anu tzerichim leha'ir kedusha ha'elyona b'maaseh v'dibur. When we have to increase kedusha, we use maaseh, lulav, and dibur. You say l'shem yichud and the bracha. So we combine that. Ken gam otam hamageim mitzad hatum'ah tzerichim le'orer. They also have to wake up at hatzat shalahem, their tum'ah, b'maaseh u'b'dibur hapeh. They also need to do things and have some incantations in order to bring up their tum'ah. And even though Bilam HaKosem Hayagadol Mikol Kosem Me'Ha'olam, even though Bilam was the best in sorcery, Kosem L'Male Minu Haya Balak, Balak was on top of him, it was higher. The Kasem Hayag Balak Gadol Mikol HaKosemim. Ubilam was Nihush. What's the difference? Kosem, Kesamim. Pasuk says Umeonen, Umenachesh. What's Menachesh? Let's see that divination. What is that? So he writes over here. Kesem v'nihush shte dargot him. There's two levels. Kesem tablu b'maaseh. You have to do actions. They gotta bow. They gotta bring korbans to their avodah zarah. They gotta do a whole bunch of heebie-jeebies till they get to their point. Nihush lo tablu b'maaseh. He's got nothing to do. He stands. Ella v'histaklut, by looking with dibur peh. Think about it. What did the Parshat say? Balak and Bilam. Who's preparing all the korbanot? Who's building the mizbeach? Who's putting it all together? And what does Balak do? And what does Bilam do? Vayisam mishalo. I'm standing over here. Balak sets him up. Look this way. Histaklut, and then dibur peh. Vayisam mishalo vayomar. And he talked. Balak couldn't do that. The Midrash Rabbah, that's what I showed you earlier, says that these two guys worked like two blind people helping each other. Well, one guy was blind. A pair of one blind and one not blind. The guy that's blind, he's the best with those blades. He knows how to open them. He knows where the metal is. He could do it all, but he just can't see. And the other guy, he could see. He sets him up, puts it, but he can't do any of those things. That's why we had Balak and Bilam as a pair over here. Now, let's finish up. V'az mit'oret alehem ruach tum'ah, and then the ruach tum'ah gets up, litlabesh behem, to totally enwrap them, v'asu masha asu, and that's when they started to do all the cursing or whatever, the blessing that they did. Bo ur'eh, come and take a look, b'kesem, haya balak gadol mikol ha'chachamim, u'bilam b'nihush, v'al kein, and therefore b'sha'ashi b'kesh balak, at the moment when Balak requested, litchaber imo, to be together with him. Ma'okatu, what does it say? V'yelechu ziknei Moav v'ziknei Midian uksamim beyadam. Bilam ma'asav benihush. So they took the ksamim and they took Bilam to unite and join forces. So don't just understand, it's not one thing. Hey, give us a good luck charm. Hey, write us a good letter. Hey, could ChatGPT give me a good idea? He programmed this entire thing in such a way. Let's finish up over here. Okay, so now, b'dibur peh haya Bilam gadol mikol hakosamim ba'olam, u'v'histaklut shel oto hanichush hayodeh lechaven hasha'ah. And he was looking. What's the looking? He was able to see what moment are we up to in terms of Hashem. And if he's upset now, or he's judging now, or he's in a favor now, and with that, he would do his thing. And therefore he tried to do it both together. If Hashem was going to get angry on those days, what would have been the actual curse? Look at the next note on the same page. Yud Aleph, Zera Shimshon Tosefot, V'im Tomar. So he asked, this Tosefot's question, how many curses could you say in 1 second? Yesh Lomar, Kalem. Annihilate them. One word, Kalem. Or, another pshat, and you have to know this pshat, once he found this, when the moment of curse is, now that he got that opening, he can continue at it and continue going at it. So Rabbatai, we asked 3 questions at the beginning. I said, why mention bracha? You're hiring the guy. I'm doing a recap for Eitan. You're hiring Bilam to curse. Why mention, I know you could bless and I know you could, and you curse. Why mention blessing to begin with? Number 2, you're mentioning blessing, you're changing the tense. It's going from blessing is present and the curse is written in future tense. You are. Why? And number 3, Rashi writes over here, Sichon used Bilam to destroy Moab and take over some of those lands. But when it came to Am Yisrael last week in the Chukat, they didn't go Bilam. Why didn't you go to Bilam? Look, the whole thing fell apart. What happened? And we gave answers. And we said, the reason why it's mentioning brachot to begin with is because Balak knew Hashem will not allow to use that curse that you could say one word, that time of day that he's zo'em. That he will block. And because he's going to block it, he's telling Bilam, please come anyway. We'll do your other thing, the thing that you know, your calendar. You know what time Hashem is judging, will bring up Averot. And that will curse them as much, not as strong. It won't be like we saw Tosfot say, Kalem, annihilate. So that was Balak telling him. That's why you mentioned blessing. Why change the tense? To tell you that Hashem will do the blessings immediately, even if stipulations are in the way. Versus curses, you have to first go through the entire stipulation. It's a chesed for us. Imagine someone turns on the light for Shabbat, he forgot or he didn't. Let's say I did it on purpose. Oh, my rabbi said if I turn it on, I'm going to explode. Boom. I didn't explode, nothing happened. Shoteh. The reason why you didn't explode, Hashem is giving you chesed. He's saying, I'll wait for you. The bad things, the curses, the punishments take time till he comes to punish you. But chesed happens right away. The good happens right away. That we learn here. And we need to know this because we're about to get cursed by Bilam. And then why Sichon didn't use Bilam a second time? Because they got tricked into saying, Kochi, ve'otzem yadi, it's my hand. I did everything. When you do that and you say, it's me, it's me, it's me, everything falls. And that's a major lesson in life, in business, in success, in family, wife, kids, teachers, parents, your partners, your operating partner, everybody included. Can't say it's me, it's I, and show off. You have to be, you can't be a shmata, but you have to know how to talk. And you see, look at the videos out there, how to talk on an interview. You can't overdo it, you can't underdo it, and if you sound like you're too much, they don't want to even talk to you. Why? I want to be. Look at me. No, it doesn't work. It's never going to be successful with I. I should not be in your language, period, especially at home, especially with the wife. It doesn't help. It doesn't make you go anywhere. And we see that here with Sichon. Sichon felt, look, we beat them. Okay, who cares? Am Yisrael, what are these guys? Slaves, they don't know anything. Let's kill them. And they got killed themselves. They didn't end up killing us. And then we did the Zohar. And the Zohar over here showed us the difference between nichush and kosem kesamim. Kosem you got to do with your hands. You got to do ma'asim. Nichush, you just got to look, meditate, and say incantations. When they connect those two, they could bring up the koach hatum'ah, and with that they could use it. I remember watching many years ago, in the 90s, Amnon Yitzchak, he brought a video, a Druze soldier, like blew up or something. And he comes back in a kid. One day this Arab kid, 6-year-old, ends up on his couch, his former couch. And the lady of this house, the wife, his old wife, he's 6 years old, he doesn't have no wife, says, what are you doing here? He goes, what do you mean what I'm doing? It's my house. Habibi, you're a kid, you don't belong here. He goes, no, you're my wife. What do you mean, my wife? He's 6 years old. He goes, I'm telling you, you're my wife, I can prove it to you. I put away special money we put away in our bedroom behind this thing. The code of the safe is this, and this. And I told you this, and you and I are the only two people that know this. Go check. He said, you're right. What happened here? Elamai, there are times, even in the non-Jewish world, that they'll have these types of episodes, whether it is a dibuk, whether it's something else. And then on this show, on this Amnon Yitzchak episode, they put an Israeli reporter, a lady, and she says, yes, the Jewish people have all this, they can bring down the shamot and they can do that, and the religious ones do this, especially the rabbis, the mekubalim, they do it through kedusha and tahara. But the Kabbalah teaches us that the same is given on the other side, through tumah. You have to, serve the demons or whatnot, and then you can have access to that. So that's what Balak did. Balak said, I'm going to fight them at their game, but the only one we have is Bilam. And Balak and Bilam together. So if someone asks you, why does Balak need Bilam? I thought Balak is better. He knows the answer is he needed someone that could do nichush. He could look and use his mouth and make things happen. And he was able to do the kosem kesamim with his hands, Balak. Together as a pair, and that we could look at the last page, as the Bamidbar Rabbah 20, it's in English, I highlighted it from Sefaria. They just put a translation a year ago, 2 years ago. Bahi Baboker, right? It was in the morning, and Balak took Bilam, brought him up to the heights of Baal. And he saw the mixad of the people. It was in the morning. And Balak took Bilam and brought him up to the heights of Baal. Balak was a sorcerer and diviner greater than Bilam, who was following him like a blind man. How do you compare this? It is to one who has a knife but is unfamiliar with the joints, and his counterpart is familiar with joints but does not have a knife. The two of them were similar. Balak and Bilam were such a pair. Balak would see places at which Israel would fall. He took him to the heights of Baal Peor as he saw that Israel would fall there. And that's basically the midrash that explains how these two work together. They came in as a pair. HaKadosh Baruch Hu did his chesed, because it says brachot are immediate. And he said, Matovu Olecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. And with this, Matovu means that our ohel, our tents are clean. The way we live with tzniut, the way we build our houses, to make sure that private rooms are not seen from the public eye, to make sure that the windows are not exactly in one person's face. They try very much to do that. And that's what he did. He said, he was giving a hint to Bilam, to Balak. He said, listen, that's their strength. Their strength is in their kedusha. They don't have promiscuity. They don't do avirot like the non-Jews do, where they marry incorrectly. Their dating is all wrong, and their marriage is all wrong, and it's a big issue by them. He says, he's giving them a hint. He's saying, Matovu Olecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael. They're all about Kedusha. Break it. And that's what they did. They came in as merchants. A Jew will never give up a good deal. Wow, you got a good rug? No way. Yeah, okay. Come, we'll do this, we'll do that. From this to that became seducing. All you got to do in order to seduce, only if you bow to this idol or go use it as a bathroom. Like, what do you mean? We do this anyway. There's nothing wrong. Okay. We're not even doing it b'shem avodah zara. But l'ma'aseh it was avodah zara. And that's the way, look at the Ma'am Lo, it's a whole story of a traveler that went and he needed to use the bathroom. I'm sorry to say this in public. They had to use the bathroom badly. It was really bad. He must have eaten something terrible. And he goes in this area. They're like, "Oh, we have a public bathroom right there." Okay, didn't know it's avodah zarah. The avodah zarah is to go on, relieve yourself on the idol. And it says in Ma'am Lo, it's not my words. And the guy couldn't find paper to wipe himself with, so he used the avodah zarah's nose for his wiping. And when he was done, they all came out. They all were clapping for him. They said, "You taught us how to do avodah zarah on a higher level. We never knew this. A chidush." And he was held accountable. He went back to it talks about him. You can read it up the story. And he went back and they said, he said, "Yeah, you have to be careful. You have to know how they do avodah zarah. You're very careful." Everyone in Sanhedrin knew all the avodah zarahs. You can't pass it otherwise. You have to be aware of them. So we learned a great deal just from the first Derush of the Zera Shimshon, how important it is to use our mouths and to use our eyes and to do our actions for the right stuff. Because if not, chas v'shalom, you could be giving koach to the other side. And with that, we'll be so successful if we don't fall through by doing the ultimate averah, which is not keeping kedusha. Keeping kedusha, there's nothing that can touch you. And like we learned the last 2 weeks, the tzitzit is there to protect you. May the Zera Shimshon bring us all barachot. We shall see Yeshua Nechamot. Thank you all for coming. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We'll see everybody.